The Louie T Network is powered by MusicHead University. MusicHeads, classes in session. Turn me up. Enroll on YouTube now. Link is in the description.
Who else could it be but me, your man, Louie T? Welcome to the Command Post Live. You know what it is. Post up. Take command. I, of course, am your Commander-in-Chief, Louie T. Thank you for joining me. I told you I'd be back if we had some news. I was not expecting this. Let me be honest with you. I was out fraternizing with the family. I went out to a restaurant. I had a couple of drinks. I was feeling great. My wife says, "Oh, look, the Commanders hired David Blough." And I'm like, "Stop playing with me. Don't play like that." She's like, "No, seriously, you got to do a video." I'm like, "They ain't hired David Blough, man. They interviewed some internal candidates. They didn't hire anybody yet, though. They ain't talking about nothing yet. They ain't hiring nobody till next week." She said, "Look." And I was like, "Check, please." Hey, let me just start by saying I was wrong. And I got to be able to say that when I'm blatantly wrong. Okay. I said, "Oh, they'll hire the defensive coordinator first." They interviewed internal candidates. It was Brian Johnson, Anthony Lynn, and Bobby Ingram. You know, fill in the blank. You pick three bums. I shouldn't call them bums. You pick three guys that aren't going to get the job, and those were the internal candidates that they interviewed. No, you were wrong. One of those, I said, and I also said it wasn't David Blough, because if it was David Blickety Blough, he would have gotten a separate tweet from one of these NFL insiders that would have said, "Commanders have interviewed interim quarterbacks coach David Blough for the current vacant offensive coordinator position. The Detroit Lions have already requested an interview for David Blough. Commanders are going to do their due diligence with somebody in the building." Something to that effect. We got none of that. We got a simple one-liner from Ian Rappaport that said the Commanders have also interviewed multiple internal candidates. They just lumped David Blough in like he was just some minced meat, like he was just a regular ass candidate. We actually found out who those three candidates were that they internally interviewed. We'll get to that in a second. But I was wrong. Wasn't expecting this to go down the way it did. I got a great analogy for you. You ready? You want to know what this hire feels like? Smells like? Tastes like? You want to know? Have you ever worked in an office, and maybe it happened at home, but if you've worked in an office setting before, one of the cardinal rules, the cardinal sins you can't commit at work is you can't bring leftover fish to work and heat it up in the goddamn microwave. You can't do it. You know what this David Blough hire feels like as a fan? For me, at least. I can't speak for anybody else. It feels like a coworker brought leftover salmon to work and put it in the microwave. Tilapia, you pick whatever fish. Flounder. If you're from the islands, sawfish. Put it in the microwave. Stinks up the joint. That shit stinks. This hire stinks. But inside that microwave, on that plate or in that Tupperware, is a delicious piece of fish. Nutritious in value, and it is absolutely good. This hire stinks. We wanted Mike McDaniel, right? We wanted McDaniel. We wanted some hot shiny new name. This is new. Might be not, it's not as shiny, but it's new. But I'm telling you right now, this piece of fish, this hire has a chance to be delicious. Yeah, it stinks. This is underwhelming for some of you. Not all of you. For some of you, this is underwhelming. It stinks. But that doesn't change the fact that this has a chance to be a delicious piece of fish. This has a chance to be a delicious, yum, yum, eat 'em up hire. You don't know. I don't know. None of us know. Just like the Lions didn't know about Ben Johnson. They had their inklings. He was already in the building. New people came in. New GM came in. New coach came in, and they said, no, he can stay. He's really good, actually. He can stay. We'll see. This feels real, Sean McVay. And I talked about this with Candy. The other night. I said, I'm old enough to remember. The 2016 season. I remember Chris Cooley, who at the time was retired. He was doing radio. And he said, Sean McVay is a savant. Sean McVay is a head coach in this league. And at that time, Sean McVay had only been as a pseudo offensive coordinator for 1 year in Washington. But he was really the tight ends coach. And Chris Cooley said, he is the most brilliant mind I've ever met in football. He will be a head coach. I don't know if Chris Cooley knew he was going to be a head coach literally that offseason, but he was. And I remember the conversation. And I brought this up with Candy. I remember it like it was yesterday. Should the Redskins move on from Jay Gruden to give Sean McVay the job because he's supposed to be that brilliant? Brilliant! Hey, we off that drink tonight. You already know what time we on tonight. We up and we stuck tonight. And I remember I was one of those ones. I feel like a dumbass right now. I was one of those ones. You can't get rid of Jay Gruden. He's done something no other coach has done since Gibbs 1.0. He's had 2 winning seasons in a row. Took us to the playoffs in 15 at 9-7. And then we missed the postseason in 16 at 8-7-1. And I made every excuse in the book for Jay Gruden. Every excuse. Oh, Dustin Hopkins missed a bunch of kicks, including the Detroit kick and the kick in Cincinnati against Cincinnati over in London. We should have been but what happened in week 17 when the Giants ain't have shit to play for and we wet the bed? What happened that week? I made every excuse for Jay Gruden. Can't get rid of him now. We should have got rid of his ass. But hindsight's 2020. I remember when this organization had Kevin O'Connell and he made Dwayne Haskins look like an actual NFL starting caliber quarterback. May he rest in peace. God rest his soul. Kevin O'Connell came in at the final back end of that 2019 rookie season, and he made Dwayne Haskins look like a real first-round pick quarterback. And Ronald Rivera came in here with his bitch-ass ego, and he started cleaning house, and KOC was the last guy that he got rid of because he couldn't stand for KOC to take the credit of this shit actually working here. Just like he couldn't take the credit. He couldn't stand the GM that we had at the time, Smith, to take the credit. So he got rid of him. He got rid of KOC, and he brought in a bunch of bums. And KOC went on to greatness, quarterback whisperer, and we got left with Scott Turner. I remember these situations like many of you do as well. And I'm not saying that's what this is. I just remember, and again, if you're not a Commanders fan, if you're not a Redskins fan, if you're not a football team fan, then this shit doesn't resonate. It don't hit the same if you didn't live it. But if you've been through the shit and you've seen these guys be in this building, leave, and go to greatness elsewhere. John Schneider, here in this building, on the greatness. You see it enough times and you're like, hey, man, don't let him leave. Do something. Stop him. Give him a job. Find a way. Keep him here. Maybe, just maybe, and we don't know, maybe, just maybe, they finally got it right. And they kept one of these savants here in Washington. I'll say this, then we're going to get to some visuals and we're going to have a conversation. But I'll say this as well. The one thing that I've realized over the life of my football watching career, I've been doing this for over 30 years, consuming football in lethal doses. I don't know how I'm still alive here talking to you because I've injected more football in my veins than a human being should have to still be here talking to you. And what I've learned over those 30 years of watching the National Football League is that more often than not, the best head coaches of former players are made by former backup quarterbacks. It's never the starters. You will never see Dan Marino or Peyton Manning or Steve Young ever become a head coach because they were too good. Those guys can't stand to watch somebody not be able to play the position at the level that they did. They don't have the patience. You'll never see a great player go be a coach because they don't have the patience for a guy to not be able to do it at the level they were able to do it at. That's why you need a backup quarterback. They have the patience and the understanding that, hey, man, sometimes shit don't go the way that it's supposed to go. And I never did it at that high level, but I can help you get to that level that I watched the guy that was in front of me, Jason Garrett. I watched Troy Aikman be a Hall of Fame quarterback. Doug Peterson. I watched Donovan McNabb. I watched all these quarterbacks be great. We can go on and on and on. The list is long of backup quarterbacks that ended up being really good NFL head coaches. There's something about that guy that was holding the clipboard. There's something about that guy that was behind the guy that was actually nice. That was David Blough in Detroit, in Minnesota, in Arizona. He learned a lot of football, man. We'll come back to that. We'll come back to that. Just know, Dan Quinn made a risky hire, but if he's right, SpaghettiOs. If he's wrong, SpaghettiOs. Either this is going to be really good, like really good, like really, really, really good, or this is going to be really, really bad, like Eric Bieniemy bad. Only one way to find out. I'm on the side of this being really, really good. I've heard from too many people that this guy is extremely intelligent and smart, and he gets it. And I'll tell you something else on the other side of this. Put a pin in this. We'll come back to this. But his philosophical beliefs, I believe, are going to be something that attracts me even more. We'll come back to that. Put a pin in it. Let's talk about this David Blough hire from a social media standpoint. So Ian Rappaport was the guy that broke the news. The Commanders are hiring former NFL quarterback and rising assistant coach David Blough to be their new offensive coordinator, sources say. The Lions showed real interest in Blough, and Washington acted fast to hire one of the NFL's youngest and brightest offensive minds. Big hire. Okay, so yeah, of course, Ian put some sauce on it. Okay, what is Ian supposed to do? Cheers to the new hire. We got ourselves a new offensive coordinator, and his name is David Blough. Cheers. Ian Rappaport. Cheers to Ian Rappaport calling him one of the NFL's youngest and brightest offensive minds. Big hire. Cheers. We continue on. So I was of the mindset, and I made a declaration earlier that Ian Rappaport told us the Commanders also, and again, it was a throwaway line. The Commanders have interviewed multiple internal candidates. And I'm like, all right, multiple internal candidates means they've interviewed some guys that have no shot at getting. You got no chance. That's what you got to get the job. So I'm thinking Anthony Lynn, Bobby Ingram, Brian Johnson, those kind of guys. Well, I was wrong. David Blough was among 3 guys that were interviewed for this job. And I got one of the 3, Brian Johnson. That seemed like the obvious one. New Commanders OC, this is from Albert Breer, who writes, new Commanders OC David Blough was one of 3 internal candidates who interviewed, joining Brian Johnson and David Rye. They also interview Cardinals pass game coordinator Drew Terrell, who we talked about earlier today, who had no shot at getting this job. Again, if I interview you over Zoom, you got no chance. That's what you got. And Cowboys tight ends coach Lunda Wells. Again, Zoom interview, no face, LW on the screen. You got no chance. That's what you got. Big gamble, Breer says. Blough has just 2 years of coaching experience. So you really got 2 guys at the opposite ends of the spectrum in terms of how they view the hire. In terms of Ian Rappaport, they got one of the youngest, brightest offensive minds, big hire. You're on the high end of the spectrum. All right, Albert Breer says, big gamble. We don't know if this is any good. Blough has just 2 years of coaching experience. He ain't been out of the game that damn long, and he ain't been coaching that long, and he ain't never called no damn plays. Big gamble. He's on the opposite end of the spectrum. Maybe somewhere in the middle is where we land, or maybe we're closer to Ian Rappaport, or maybe we're closer to Albert Breer. Only one way to find out. But I will tell you this. First and foremost, cheers. We got ourselves an offensive coordinator. We don't know if he's good or not, but I'm going to give you the reasons why I think he has a chance to be exceptional here in Washington. So let me start with this. One of the reasons let me back up first. Let's talk about the many faces of David Blough. Let's talk about the many faces of David Blough. So this was a guy that played under Ben Johnson in Detroit back in 2022. He was under Kevin O'Connell in 2023 in Minnesota. And he was under Cliff Kingsbury his last year in Arizona, which is why Cliff brought him here with him when he left USC to become the offensive coordinator in Washington. He said, you know what? David Blough, I'm telling you, that's a guy. You want to check him out, man. He liked that. He's super smart. You're going to love him. He brought him here, and DQ agreed and gave him an assistant coaching job. Gave him his first opportunity to be a coach in this league. So what I'm getting at when I bring that up, on the thumbnail, I made sure that I showed you the different faces of David Blough, the different stops he's had, because this is important when you start to take a look at David Blough and you start to try to figure out what is his offense going to look like. And the thing that I loved about Ben Johnson, when I was doing my homework on Ben Johnson, when I became borderline, this shit was borderline obsessive with Ben Johnson. I'm not going to hold you. I ain't going to even trip I'm gonna be honest. All right. I was on some borderline obsessive shit with Ben Johnson, man. I was telling people, yo, he gonna be our next head coach. And I had done so much work. I had never done this much work on an assistant coach before because I thought he was gonna be the guy. And we were gonna pair him with whatever rookie quarterback we were finna draft. And he was gonna make beautiful music. And one of the things that I learned in studying Ben Johnson is that he didn't have a tree. He didn't come from anybody's tree. He didn't have a specific scheme. He had a smorgasbord in his bag. He had everything in his bag at his disposal. He had a little bit of this, a little bit of that. He had a little bit of this. He also had a little pinch of that. He had a nickel for your dime, a penny for your kiss. No. A penny for your thoughts, a nickel for your kiss, a dime if you tell me that you love me. He had a little bit of everything. He learned from so many different people. He gathered so much information on his journey. He took a little bit from this guy. Man, I like what he does. I'm going to take a little bit from him. I'm going to integrate it. I'm going to add a little pinch of this. This is some good shit here. And I'm going to put it all together and I'm going to make it mine. I'm going to make it my authentic style. Nobody else's. It ain't Shanahan. It ain't Air Raid. It's mine. I'm looking at David Blough. David Bliggity Blough. And I'm saying, is he going to come in here and he was under Ben Johnson, so obviously there's influence there. He gonna take a little bit off the Ben Johnson tree. You might take a bite. That's pretty good. He gonna cut a piece of that off, put it in the pot. He was under KOC. He was like, this KOC, man, this grab one of these. Damn, that's pretty good. Cut a piece of that, put it in a pot. He was under Cliff. Yeah, we already know. He was here with Cliff for 2 years, and he was with Cliff in Arizona. Damn right, I'm going to grab one of the, matter of fact, I'm going to throw the whole thing in the pot. I rock with Cliff. I've been with him for 3 years. Throw that in the pot, too. I'm going to mix it all up. The world is beautiful when you live in harmony. You just going to stir the pot up. Stir it up. Get the spoon, then you're going to taste it. Oh, I need a pinch of David Bliggity Blough. I need a pinch of my shit. You put it in there, now you try it again. Now you stir it up. Now you try it again. Oh, that's perfect. There it is. That's the one. That's what I'm hoping David Blough comes in here and brings. A style unlike what we've seen. He ain't going to be Cliff. He ain't going to be Ben Johnson. He ain't going to be Kevin O'Connell. He going to be David Bliggity Blough. Come in here and he's going to be different. He's going to do things unorthodox. And for those of you who were like, oh, Jaden in year 3, we breaking up the continuity. Oh, man, I don't like this. Guess what? You get the best of both worlds. Best of both worlds. You get the best of both worlds. You get David Blough, who was here with Jaden, throwing the ball through the net, playing a little game at practice in the quarterback room with him every day for the last 2 years. Jaden loves him. Who doesn't love David Blough? You get the best of both worlds. What's there not to like? Here's the only thing that you can question. We all can question, and this is the biggest elephant in the room. He ain't never called a play a day in his life. What does it look like? You know who else hadn't called a play a day in his life until he got the opportunity? Benjamin Johnson. Goddamn, he's good. He's really good. So I'm not going to hold that against him. We already told DQ, hey, you better be right. Hey, don't F this up. Don't F up now. Don't F this up. Because if you do, you won't get another shot. We'll see what happens. I'll tell you that in my mind, this wasn't the guy I wanted. This is the fish in the microwave. This stinks as a hire. Because I wanted Mike McDaniel. But just like I wanted Ben Johnson, and maybe it feels like the vindication is happening right now. I wanted Ben Johnson. We got DQ. And last year, I remember saying, we wanted Ben Johnson, but Dan Quinn is what we needed. I don't know if that's true or not. That's some shit you tell yourself when you're trying to make yourself feel better. But look, he took us to the NFC Championship game. In that moment, I felt that way. But we all wanted Ben Johnson for the most part. F him. He didn't want us. We were the basketball guys. He can kick rocks. I'm standing on business. Every time I see Ben Johnson, it's on site. It's all good, though. I ain't got no real animosity towards that man. But when we played him, it's on site. He's a damn good coach, though. And maybe, just maybe, David Blough is going to be the exact same. Here's something else that this is a conversation really for another day down the road, because David Blough could be awful. He could be Eric Bieniemy 2.0. I doubt that seriously, but he could be terrible. So this is really a null and void conversation, but could Dan Quinn be hiring his replacement right now? The guy that's ultimately going to take his job a year from now, 2 years from now? Maybe. I don't know. We've all said we want an offensive-minded coach. David Blough is as young as it gets. This would be the perfect replacement. A guy that could grow with Jaden. He's damn near the same age. It's like Sean McVay with Matthew Stafford. They're like the same age. That would be awesome. If David Blough, now again, if David Blough is what we think he could be, right? If he turns into the next Sean McVay, the next Kevin O'Connell, the next Ben Johnson, he's going to get a job because they're not going to fire DQ unless the team doesn't perform well, but the offense is tremendous. But the defense continues to be ass, and this team continues to lose football games. He could then potentially get the job and get the promotion to head coach. But if he's performing at the level that we're talking about right now, that means Jaden Daniels is playing at a high level. And I just refuse to believe that if Jaden Daniels is playing at a high level, this team isn't winning football games. That's hard for me to fathom and wrap my brain around. If Jaden Daniels is playing at a high level, this team is winning football games. We saw what that looked like in 2024, even without a defense. And the special teams was solid that year. It wasn't like 2025 special teams, which was actually difference making, needle moving. And the special teams was all right in 2024. If you get the iteration of the special teams we saw this year and you get Jaden playing at the level that he was playing in his rookie season again, I can't believe that this team doesn't win any less than 10 games next season. So if David Blough comes in here and lights it up for 2 years, look, there were already teams banging the door down like, hey, Dave. Come holler at us, bro. Dan Campbell was like, I remember when you were here. Come holler at us, bro. Come on home. And we was like, ah! Hit him with the Jamie Foxx. Ah! Not on my watch. For once. And again, I don't know if this is going to work, but for once, they kept a super young, talented guy in-house. For once. I've already chronicled the guys that have been here, that have been super talented, that they looked in the eyes and let walk away. I'm looking at David Blough. I'm saying, that's my offensive coordinator. I paid for that offensive coordinator. Get your own, you heard? That's our offensive coordinator. Bad back. Go get your own. It's about time we stand up for our shit. Stop letting people poach our shit away. I'm sick of the whole conversation about how many coaches in the league were here in Washington under the Shanahans back in 2016, 2015. Look, or 2013, excuse me. My bad. They weren't here in 2015 and 16. That was Jay Gruden. 2013. Yeah, it was a bunch of them here. I know. You don't got to rub it in, including McVay. We know. Maybe we finally got the shit right. A wise woman once told me it's never the wrong time to do the right thing. Maybe we finally did the right thing. I don't know. We'll see. You never know how these things are going to go. But I'm taking that fish out of the microwave. Yeah, that shit stink. That fish is funky. That shit stink. But that shit is, put some hot sauce on it. That shit is good. That shit stinks. This hire stinks if you wanted Mike McDaniel. And if you black, stop putting the S on it. It's Mike McDaniel, not McDaniels. If you wanted Mike McDaniel, this hire stinks. It's the fish in the microwave. But if you somebody like me, I'm just going to open the microwave door, take that funky ass fish out, throw a little hot sauce on that bitch, and go to work. That shit is delicious. Delicioso. That's what this hire has the potential to be. Are you ready? We trying to turn this division around upside down. Bow to the masters. David Blough. Come on, David. Come in here. Get Jaden right. Let's go to work. Hey, AP, you got to get this man some talent, though. I can sit here and try to act like David Blough about to be the next Sean McVay, about to be the next Ben Johnson, KOC. Get this man some damn talent, please. Please, get this man some talent. Can't none of this shit work if he don't have no talent. Get him some damn talent. Anyway, we're going to get to the comment section after a word from one of our sponsors. See how you guys feel about this, because I just told you how I feel. I think this guy has a chance to be what we wanted. All of these offensive coordinators, the Scott Turners, the Eric Bieniemys, the Cliff Kingsburys of the world, all them dudes that we had here previously that we wanted to have this dynamic elite offense. He has a chance to be that. He ain't never called to play a day in his life, but he been around some elite play callers since he got in the NFL. That's all he been around, is dudes who know how to scheme it up. You can say what you want about Cliff. Cliff ain't no dummy. Cliff know how to scheme it up. Cliff's problem is he want to throw the ball too goddamn much. Cliff want to put his quarterback in the shotgun and sling the bitch 40 times if you let him. That's what he would have done if DQ didn't get in his ear and say, hey, man, run that shit a little bit, bro. Trust me. Cliff know what he doing, too. It just wasn't clean because Cliff ain't know how to behave himself. But he been around elite play callers. And you take a little bit from each of those guys and you make it your own. You put it in a pot and you put your little seasoning on it and you make it yours. And if David Blough can figure it out and do that, even integrate a little Tavita Pritchard, who he was around the last 2 years as the quarterback. Put a little Tavita in the pot. Stir it up. Oh, shit. That's it right there. That's it. We might have something. or we could have nothing. As I said at the beginning of this, only one way to find out. We're going to do that this year. I think we might have something, though. Now, we await this defensive coordinator hire. Shout out to Rio. My guy, Rio Robinson, said that this was going to be quick and they had a plan. The way that they moved, it felt like they had a plan all along. Can I ask y'all a question, though? If you had a plan, and this is the only thing that makes me question if they truly had a plan or not, why did you get rid of O-line Bobby Johnson if you were going to hire David Blough? You didn't have to do that. Does David Blough have a dramatically different running scheme that requires a different O-line coach? Did he not get along with O-line Bobby Johnson? What's the rationale behind O-line Bobby Johnson not being here? Was he on steroids? We saw him lose a bunch of weight. He started to look jacked. What's going on? There's got to be a backstory here. I don't want to start rumors. I don't know what happened to O-line Bobby Johnson, but I just know he's not here. And I can tell you this, of all of the position coaches in Washington over the last 2 years since Dan Quinn has gotten here, O-line Bobby Johnson was pretty much at the bottom of the pile, not the top of it. When it came to positional coaches, we had questions about. The offensive line, you could argue he was the best positional coach in 2024 because we had so many issues up front, so many moving parts and pieces. We started a rookie left tackle, and he made the shit shake. He had a rookie left tackle and Andrew Wiley at right tackle, and he made the shit shake. Cosme went down in the divisional round. We inserted Trent Scott, and you would have never known the difference. So it's hard for me to just act like O-line Bobby Johnson was not doing his job because the offensive line was one of the few stable parts of this team in 2025. They performed very well. We had a top 5 rush offense, and they protected the quarterback for the most part. So, again, why was he a casualty? Makes me wonder. It makes me wonder. I don't know. Just a little food for thought. You do the dishes. We'll come back on the other side, and we will get to the comment section. But before we do that, let's get a word from our sponsor, Sleeper, and we'll come back on the other side. Sleeper is the best way to experience and connect over sports together. It's a one-stop shop for all of your sports needs. You can celebrate and chat in the games in real time with other users, get the fastest scores, blazing fast news and alerts right at your fingertips. Play in fantasy leagues and win real money on picks contests. So enjoy sports the way they were meant to, together. Download the #1 sports app today. Predict the hottest football stats like passing yards, receiving yards, touchdowns, interceptions, and much more to cash in on your daily fantasy football skills. Use promo code LTN, and Sleeper will match your first deposit up to $100. Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. Currently operational in over 25 states. Check out Sleeper today. Sleeper. All right, so let's get to the comment section, see what you guys got to say. Big shout out to Sleeper for sponsoring this stream. 100% boost for the NBA tonight. Another 80% for the football over the weekend for the NFL. Sleeper been killing it. If you're not a member of the Sleeper family, here's an opportunity for you to become one. Link is in the description of this video. Use my promo code LTN to get you 100% match on your first deposit up to $100. Big shout out to Sleeper for sponsoring this stream. They've been killing it here over the last 3 weeks to a month or so. Very hot. Anyway, let's get to the comment section, see what you guys have to say. And we will start the night off with Mr. Rogers. Uncle Jay. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Uncle Jay writes, I'm tired of seeing the coaching tree we let go. I like this move. Also, Thank you for being a member of the MOBB, who writes. Also, go Canes. Duh, you. Hey, they got. I mean, obviously, you're in the national championship. You in the Natty, so you got a shot to win it. But we're gonna see what happens tonight. I haven't watched 1 second of the game tonight. I expect Indiana to win, and when they win, we're gonna see. If the U wins the Natty, that's gonna be pretty dope because I think college football is better when the U is good. So I like the fact that the U is good again. Like I said, I'm gonna watch the U. The two documentaries. Those are two of the best 30 for 30s, by the way. If you haven't watched them, you should. I'm tired of seeing this organization allow guys to leave and become great elsewhere as well. That's why I brought up Sean McVay. That's why I brought up Kevin O'Connell. That's why I brought up guys that have been here, that were in our organization. We didn't have the foresight to hold on to them. We let them go elsewhere, and they became rock stars. Maybe we have a rock star now, and all we got to do is give him a chance to play the damn guitar. Maybe we got to let him get on lead vocals. Maybe this is Teddy Pendergrass with Harold and the Blue Notes. F Harold. Teddy Pendergrass is the real star. Give him the mic. Get out the way. I miss you, babe. Y'all don't know nothing about that. I'm singing to myself. I hope they did the right thing. I think they did the right thing. Voices of Martians. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB, who writes, you owe a triple O for this one. Lou, you're right. And look, I said I was wrong. I said I was wrong. But I don't do triple O's. I do double O's. Okay. I was wrong. I needed to give that one up. I did. I needed to give up a double O for that because I was blatantly wrong earlier. I was like, David Blough wasn't one of the three. It wasn't one of the multiple internal candidates. And if he was, he would have gotten his own tweet. He was absolutely one of the three guys that they interviewed as internal candidates. And I said, they'll be hiring their offensive coordinator down the road. They're going to hire. They're just checking off boxes now. The defensive coordinator will be first. It'll be sometime next week. Nothing's going to come of it this week. And they hired their offensive coordinator tonight. So, yes. My bad. That's on me. That's on me. That's on me. Cheers. Ben Schmoder. Been a member for 7 months. Really, truly appreciate you. Who writes, been a while. Yes, it has. Good to see you again. Likewise. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Glad to have you back, Ben. Glad to have you back. Colin Talks Sports. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate it. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB, who writes, I'm terrified and excited right now. This is the type of thing we always regret not doing. Can't love it or hate it because I don't know what to expect. You know what? That, my friend, is the definition of faith. You got to have faith. Ooh, you got to have faith. You got to have faith, the faith, the faith. You got to have faith, the faith, the faith. You got to have faith, bro. That's the definition of faith. Either you believe or you don't. Do you believe? Either you do or you don't. We don't know. This is literally blind faith. But this isn't the type of blind faith that we had with Eric Bieniemy, where we just said, well, he was in Kansas City, right? This is different. We got PTSD from this type of move in the past. And again, just because those other moves turned out to be the wrong thing doesn't mean this is the right thing. Okay, let me make sure we are abundantly clear. Just because we let Sean McVay go, we let KOC go, doesn't mean we're making the right decision by not letting David Blough go. We could be making the absolute wrong decision and Dan Quinn could be getting fired. Look at it from this perspective. Look at it from this perspective. If David Blough is what we think he can be, we win. We win. If David Blough isn't what we think he can be, and we're absolutely 100% unequivocally wrong about him, Dan Quinn is fired, and we're going to be looking for a new coach, and we'll probably be looking for a guy on the offensive side of the football to marry with Jaden, and you still win anyway. Not saying that that guy's going to be the right hire, but you get to reset the deck, which is what a lot of you want to do anyway. So just give it a shot. Let's see what happens. All I ever ask from the fan base, and it's a small ask, but a lot of you don't adhere to my wishes most of the time, is just don't, even if you don't love Dan Quinn and you want him gone, don't root for his demise. Root for David Blough to succeed. Root for David Blough to succeed, and you may still get your wish. Two things can be true at the same time. David Blough can be David Blough, and Dan Quinn can still get fired. Those two things can happen simultaneously. So all I ask is that you don't try to undercut this man, root for his demise so that Dan Quinn gets fired. Just give him a shot. This offense can be tremendous, and Dan Quinn could still not get it done on the defensive side. He could still whiff on the defensive coordinator. He could still not have a good team, and he could still get fired, and David Blough could take over. Don't root for David Blough's demise just to spite Dan Quinn. Don't cut your nose off to spite your face. If you say you're a fan of this team, be a fan of this team and root for success, even if it means that you are wrong. It's okay to be wrong. I was wrong 3 hours ago. I don't give a shit. I hope I'm right about David Blough, which is he could be the next Ben Johnson, KOC, Sean McVay. Really more like Ben Johnson, because KOC and Sean McVay, they have a distinct offense. They came from a tree. Ben Johnson you ain't going to find Ben Johnson on nobody's tree. He created his own tree. He grabbed fruit from everybody else's shit, cut it up, put it in a pot, and he said, I'm going to make my own shit. And then he said, oh, man, this is great. And then he said, damn, this shit, it birthed a seed. I'm going to put it in the ground. Now he got his own tree. And in 2 years, give him 2 years, he going to have people picking off of his tree. And we ain't seen nothing like it. Dudes be running butt-ass naked open in Ben Johnson offense. Butt-ass open. Butt-ass naked. Bucky naked. That's what we want. Streakers running down the field. Take that, take that, take that, take that. Hey, go ahead, man. Colin talks sports. That's the definition of faith, my man. You don't really know what to expect, but you just got to believe. Or don't. It's up to you. Frankie, yo. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, man, my man Living Water in the Discord said it best. What'd he say? Quote, this gives major we have McDaniel at home vibes. Doesn't it though? Doesn't it though? Like, we got all excited. We start talking about Mike McDaniel and how we needed to go out and get him. DQ, do whatever you got to do to go get him. And he basically said, nah. We got Mike McDaniel at home, bro. We don't need to go out for. We don't need to go out for food. We don't need to go out for food. We got Mike McDaniel at home. And this is crazy. This is crazy because there's a sector of the fan base that wanted David Blough, felt like he was the right man for the job. And look, as I'm gonna be honest, as a fan, we tend to get tunnel vision when it comes to our team. You want what you want. It happens in free agency. It happens with the coaching staff. It happens with the draft. You want what you want. I literally watched the Civil War 2 years ago. 2 years ago, I'm standing outside on my front porch and I'm watching fans of my favorite team, people that I know are good people. There's good people on both sides. It's good people on both sides. I'm watching people over here shooting at people that want Drake May, and I'm watching Drake May fans returning fire to those who want Jaden Daniels. It was a nightmare. I went back in the house. Shut my doors, locked it, closed the blinds, and I'm not coming back out until the draft is over. You guys are crazy. Because when you get into that mindset of it's got to be this way for it to be right and for it to work, to me, that is the worst way to fan. I can't tell anybody how to fan. But what that does is it locks you into this mindset of if it's not this way, it can't work. And then you become so fixated on your way being the right way that you root for your way to work and the thing that they did to not work. And it's the most sickening thing to watch fans do. I told you it was this. Now, how about you root for that? Maybe we have McDaniel at home. Just maybe. Maybe we don't. Maybe he turns out to look like a green, unseasoned offensive coordinator who's never done it before. And it shows. Maybe. That may be the case. Or maybe he shows everything that we've heard about him, everything that we want to think about him. Maybe he shows that he is exactly that. Whether you wanted McDaniel or not. Let's see if we had McDaniel at home. Let's see if we had him at home. We didn't need to go out and get McDaniel. We had him home. He's right in our backyard. We had an inner squad scrimmage and he called plays. Maybe we got McDaniel at home and DQ knew it all along because he watched him call plays this summer and he said, damn, that was pretty impressive. Maybe. You ever thought about that? Maybe we had McDaniel at home. Shout out to Living Water. Maybe we had McDaniel at home all along. We'll see. Joshua Ferris. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Joshua Ferris writes, I'm intrigued with the hire. Everyone should be. If nothing else, at worst, you should be intrigued by the hire. You don't have to love it. You don't have to hate it. Maybe you do love it. I don't love the hire. I like it a lot. I don't love it because if I loved it, I would have wanted him the entire time. He would have been at the top of the pile. But I like it a lot because it's new, it's fresh, it's not stale. He didn't do the easy, low-hanging fruit thing, right? Which is what a lot of people thought DQ was going to do. Something safe. I'm trying to keep my job. I got to do something safe. He went outside the box. It may cost him his job, or it may save his job. You can't be scared. Scared money don't make money. A wise man once told me that. Money, money, yeah, yeah. Money, money, yeah, yeah. Let's get it. You can't be scared. You want to make money, you can't be scared to spend money. In this case, you want to keep your job, you can't be scared to go out and do something outside the box. We'll see. Again, it could cost him his job, or it could give him new life in his second and final act as a head coach in this league. Joshua Farish, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Who writes? Lord, if Blough, blickety Blough, becomes successful, Lou is going to go crazy with these catchphrases, laughing my ass off. You already know what it is. You already see what it's going to be, man. You already see what it's going to be. Don't let them be nice with it. They're going to hate me, bro. You can hate me now because I won't stop now. You can hate me now. You can hate me now. Hey, do it now. I told you to do it now. You might as well start hating me now. Because if David Blough is like that, it's over. You ain't going to hear the end of blickety Blough. You ain't going to hear the end of that shit. I'm going to be like in Living Color when he was like, Howard, let me get you a business card. Howard. Bam. I'm going to just out of nowhere. Blough. You're going to be minding your damn business and you just going to get a Blough out of nowhere. Scared of living but Jesus out of you. You already know what time it is. You already know what type of time I'm on. You can see the vision. You can see it. Long as you see it, then we all good. Off to Another World. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Off to Another World writes, OC with no film and easier schedule, we will see. Absolutely. Like that right there, that thought process is great for 1 year. I don't love that thought process because that's fool's gold. Right? I don't want to hear no film, easier schedule. Let's go get them. Because yeah, that could lead to some success in year one. And then when they adjust, can you adjust to the adjustments? That's what it seemed like Cliff failed to do. Right. So yeah, an offensive coordinator with no film is great. He's not going to show anything in the preseason. An easier schedule. This all feels like 2024 all over again. Yeah, it does. I'm not gonna lie to you. And if they have success like 2024, I'm gonna disregard 2025 and act like that didn't happen, and I'm gonna be rooting my ass off and acting like I did in going into 2025. Like this was all expected, and now we up and we stuck. But we'll have those same questions off to another world, and you will be at the forefront of it because you basically set the table for it. We have success in 26. All right, do it again in 27. That'll be the rallying cry. Do it again. But hey, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. To your point, no film, easier schedule. Let's see what it looks like. John Perez, my guy JP, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. My guy, John Perez, thank you for being a member of the MOBB, writes, Blough seems like a smart guy, but he's never called plays. Facts, JP. I'd like to see what he's cooking up, though. That's the intrigue, right? That's the intrigue of this, is we don't know. Like, if they would have hired Daboll, well, there's plenty of film on Daboll. There's statistical data on Daboll. You can love it or you can hate it. This one, you might not love the hire. It's internal, but you don't know. There's no proof of whether he's good or not. We don't know. He could be awful. He could be great. He says, but Quinn is putting his career on the line. Head coaching career, yes. Defensive coordinator career, no. He could absolutely get a defensive coordinator position as soon as he gets fired here. He'll be right there in the mix for a DC job. But he is definitely putting his head coaching career on the line, without question. You are spot on, JP. He is definitely doing that. Without question. Mr. Rogers, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Uncle Jay writes, Lou, with all the pop culture references, gets me. Look, man, you already know. A little bit of this, a little bit of that, and all of a sudden, we having fun. All right? We having fun. Loosen up. Live a little. Yeah. You know what you get when you show up here on a Friday night and I got a little something in the cup. We weren't supposed to be here. I told y'all earlier nothing's going to happen. And then I proceeded to go out with the family, have a couple of drinks. And then they decided, no. We finna turn your Friday upside down, bro. Check, please. Now I'm here talking to you guys. You know what time it is. Hopefully you're enjoying the show. I'm enjoying doing the show. I know that much. This is fun. I love this. This is great. We got ourselves an offensive coordinator. Celebrate. Door Gunner, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB. My guy, Door Gunner, writes, when is the Bliggity Blough merch drop? LOL. Let them kill it in 2026. The Bliggity Blough merch is definitely on deck. All right. It's definitely on deck. Don't buy none of them knockoffs. Wait for the real thing. Ain't nothing like the real thing, baby. So glad we got the real thing. Oh, no. Wait for the real thing. Somebody going to try to job. But it's only one authentic. Only one true authentic. So wait for the real thing. DMV fan 123. Thank you for super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Writes, kind of glad we got out of the way early. I don't know if I feel any type of way about them doing this quickly. I think they had a plan all along, right? Like, you don't move on from Cliff and not know what the future holds. I think they kind of knew, but I'm still like, the one question I have is, what did O-line Bobby Johnson have to do with all of this? He couldn't have remained the offensive line coach with Bliggity Blough. That's the one thing that I keep going back to. Like, you sure this is what you were going to do all the time? Or did he just blow you away in this interview? That's what it feels like. They was like, yo, let's just grab a few dudes in the building, interview them, and then we're going to pick up the rest of these interviews after Wild Card Weekend on Monday. So we're going to get to the rest of the shits on Tuesday. Let's just grab a few good guys in the building and see what they're talking about. And they grabbed their little notepads, and it was like, okay, all right. Yep, Brian. Yep. Okay. All right, Brian. All right. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep. Cool. All right. David Ryan. Yeah. Okay. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah. This is what you would do. Yeah. Okay. Great. All right. We'll be in touch, David. And then Blough, come on in, sit down, man. So what would your vision be for the team offensively? Really? Tell me more. And you really think you could execute this with Jaden? Well, what's your idea of a complementary run game? Adam, you hearing this shit? Carry on. Yeah. Now, look, Adam can get you the things you need, but you really think you can pull this off? My job's on the line here. You really think you can pull this shit off? You hear this shit? All right. Hey, David, tell you what, man. Great interview. We'll be in touch. Keep your phone near you. All right? Okay. Yeah. We got to hire this guy. That's how I feel like it went. I don't think they had intentions of hiring this because I'm still confused and conflicted about O-line Bobby Johnson. You still got to fill that vacancy. And it feels like, why did you do it? If you were going to just hire internally, maybe it'll come out down the road why they did it. We'll see. I don't know, but I digress. I can tell you this. I do like that we're no longer in the mix. Sitting at, you know what would have been the worst is if it would have been like 2024 and we were the last team to figure the shit out. You're just picking from scraps that's just left. Get your shit out of the way, get what you want, and don't wait. Because I'm going to tell you right now, I expect Mike McDaniel to end up with a job. And I'm telling you, they probably wanted Mike McDaniel. He's going to end up in Tennessee. And I told y'all this, that I think Tennessee is the job for him because the Titans don't nobody want that job. And I think Mike McDaniel just want to be a head coach again. And he's like, nah, I can fix this. I can clean this shit up. Again, I could be wrong. He could not get the Tennessee job and he could end up somewhere else or he could end up as an OC. But waiting around to see if that happens and missing out on David Blough, he could have went interview with Detroit. They could have gave him the job. And now you're sitting there holding your damn thumbs, twirling them shits. Instead of waiting, you were proactive and you said, no. That's my offensive coordinator. I paid for that offensive coordinator. Get your own, you heard? I like that. I agree with you, DMV fan. I like that they said, nah. We ain't waiting. We getting out there, we getting ours, and we getting out. Bread, eggs, cheese, milk. I always talk about the grocery list. Don't go to the store shopping hungry. Make a list. Bread, eggs, cheese, milk. Go in the store, get bread, eggs, cheese, milk, and get out. Don't go in there buying cookies, cake, and all kinds of extra bullshit that you didn't need, that you didn't go in there to buy. They went in, got their offensive coordinator, and they got out. Now go get your defensive coordinator, get your offensive line coach, and get out. Junior, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Junior writes, hope this isn't Freddie Kitchens' crash and burn. That was an epic ass crash and burn. That's a good ass pull, Junior. He went over there. Him and Baker Mayfield were besties in Baker's rookie season. They gave him the job. Now, remember, Freddie Kitchens was the OC and he became the head coach. It's a little bit different, okay? But I get the concept. And it could exactly be like that, though, right? Freddie Kitchens went from hot OC, oh my God, Baker loves him, to head coach, to get this mother effer the hell out of here. A little different, though, but it could be the same. I get it. I see what you did there. Let's hope it's not that. Fingers crossed, okay? Fingers crossed. Oh, man. Brendan McCloskey, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB, who writes, I like this hire. I like DQ taking a swing. Also, I was wondering what you thought about the Trae Young trade to the Wiz. So I like this hire. Like I said, I don't love it. It's the fish in the microwave at work. It stinks. But I think it has a chance to be really delicious. DQ definitely took a swing. And I like, this is a home run cut. I talked about this earlier when I said Drew Terrell is not a home run cut. You just trying to make contact. You got 2 strikes. You done choked up on the bat and you just trying to make contact. Don't nobody want Drew Terrell. That felt like, don't nobody want Joe Cullen as a defensive coordinator? You just trying to make contact. I need a home run swing, especially on the offensive side. Defensive, he might hit a double, and we might have to be okay with the double. I've processed my brain that he's going to just swing for a double. He's going gap to gap, gap power. He's not looking to hit it over the fence. I said, from an offensive coordinator, you got Jaden Daniels. I need you to be swinging for the fence. Either you're going to strike out or you're going to hit a damn grand slam with this bitch. But what I don't want you doing is trying to lay down a sacrifice bunt. Don't just put the bat on the ball. Smoke that bitch or you strike out trying. Be 50 Cent on the Boondocks. I'm 50 Cent. I'm either going to say this play or die trying. We either going to hit a home run or we going to die trying. Trae Young to the Wizards. The Wizards are so desperate for a star. I feel bad for them, honestly, how desperate they are. Now, I will say the trade was not bad because they didn't give up any draft picks. But I also didn't want to give up Corey Kispert either. But if Trae Young can turn out to be the Trae Young of old, he can, put some butts in seats, maybe help them win some games, give you something to maybe build around. Who knows? We'll see. I'll tell you this. The Hawks were smart to get out there and get Trae Young traded before Ja Morant became available, because if Ja Morant was available, to hell with Trae Young. Ja Morant is a box office seller. So on one hand, I'm like, hey, good for the Wizards, man. Go get you a guy that you can potentially build some shit around and maybe take this young nucleus to the next level with a guy like Trae Young. But on the other hand, I'm like, if you just waited a little while, you could have had Ja. Wow, 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 wow. Oh, well, better luck next time. Teddy Jr., turn off the lights and light a candle. Teddy Jr., everybody. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate your rights. Yeah, I think they were going to hire Daboll, then they changed their minds. Could have been. They never even interviewed him, though. That's the part, Teddy, is if they were going to at least interview Daboll so he can state his case. They didn't know what Daboll was going to say in the interview. They had no idea. If you were going to hire Daboll, at least hear him out. David Blough blew you away. Blickety Blough. He blew you away in the interview. And you like, shit, I think this is the one. Still interview Brian Daboll. Blough ain't going nowhere. You can block other teams and say, no. We thinking about making him our offensive coordinator. You can block that shit. Unless somebody going to give him a help. Ain't nobody giving him a head coach opportunity. So you can block them shits until you make a decision. And you could have interviewed Brian Daboll. Shit, you could have did one of these bitch-ass, hoe-ass 30-minute Zoom joints with Daboll just to see what he was on. And if you liked the shit he was talking, you could have had a real interview with him, face-to-face, like, all right, we know you love Jaden. We also saw your ass run up in the blue tent like the feds, like the narcos. So, like, what's really good? And then they could have made a decision. I don't think Daboll was at the top of the pile. Could have been, but without interviewing him, that's hard for me to wrap my brain around. Everything don't got to make sense, though. You might be right. You might be right. Ain't no lie. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Ain't no lie writes, tip for the high note. You like that, though, right? Look, I told people before I hit puberty, your boy could get up there. I could take it up there. I could go upstairs. Puberty hit, and then the shit got. I bet you, if I got a voice coach, I'm telling you, I think I could do a little something. I ain't telling you I would be blowing nobody away, but I think I could do a little something if I got a voice coach. Figured out what my range was. Probably could do a little something, man. I probably need to get with my wife because my wife got a little voice on her too. She can sing a little bit. Probably get with her, get her to fine tune me a little bit. Figure out if I'm a What's the different levels? Alto, a bass. Figure out where I fit at so I can adjust my voice to that. I can do a little something. Appreciate you acknowledging the skills. Don't blow my head up though. Don't do that. Don't do that, because then you're gonna start a whole nother set of issues. Then you're gonna have our guy Door Gunner's dog, Dusty, out here just going crazy. All right. Is it Dusty, Rusty? It's something TY at the end. Shout out to Dusty, man. Shout out to Dusty. That's my guy. I don't want no smoke. Swaggy P, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB, who writes, love the wrestling references tonight. Hashtag attitude era. That was a hell of an era. Now, I was really more in line with the era before that, not the one before that one, because the one before the attitude era got a little dicey for the old WWF then. But attitude brought him back and saved him. But the era before that, the Shawn Michaels, Diesel, Razor Ramon era was sweet. But anyway, I like the hire. Hopefully it pays off, and he's the new McVay / O'Connell. Hashtag raise hell. Yeah. That's what I'm hoping. Again, he was under Ben Johnson for a year, under O'Connell for a year, under Cliff for 3 years. I hope he's taken the best parts of all of their games, sprinkled in a pinch of his own stuff, make it his own, and then turns it into bliggity blow. See, I just came out of nowhere with that one. You might have just jumped. I'm going to be dangerous with this one. Let him be nice. Or as a wise woman once said, let him be free. Let him be nice. You done effed up. You done effed up. Let him be nice. Let him be nice. Raise hell. Swaggy P. Christopher McLaughlin, my guy, C-Mac. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB. Chris writes, hey, Lou. What's up, Chris? Hope all is well with you and the family. Likewise, as always. With Daniels healthy, the concern is the defense. And I can tell you're very concerned with the defense because you brought the defense up yesterday. You brought up talent yesterday, and you're bringing it up again today. Talent needed for the DNs, cornerback, linebacker, if no Wagner returns. 2 questions. 1, who do you want the team to hire as DC? And 2, who do you think they hire? So what I want and what will happen are 2 different things. I want guys that I have seen do it in this league before. Unlike offensive coordinator, where I was open to the idea of a guy like David Blough. Did I just get you? I think I got you. I was open to somebody who had never called plays before. And I'm open to that again. I talked about Al Harris as a guy that I wouldn't mind calling plays here in Washington, who's never done it before. DQ could go completely out the box and hire 2 guys who's never called plays before. That would be crazy for a guy that's fighting for his job, essentially. But on the defensive side, I think I'm more inclined to go with somebody who has done it at a high level in this league and has proven that, you give him enough pieces and he can put together a, top 12 defense in this league, top 15, which is all we need. If the offense is humming, you don't need an elite defense. You just need a defense that's not bottom third of the league and it's terrible, which is what we've had each of the last 2 seasons. Just give me something top half of the league and we're fine. And so, again, the leader in the clubhouse, like if a Todd Bowles had shaken free, he would have gone straight to the top of the list because I'm an aggressive guy defensively. I like guys that blitz, that change the different looks for a quarterback. They don't know what's coming. I like guys like that. I love Brian Flores, guys that change what you're looking at and make it hard for you to understand the picture before the snap, right? Because quarterbacks like to take a mental picture of the defense so they know where to go with the football. And Brian Flores is continuously changing that picture before you snap the football. But those guys aren't available. They both have jobs currently. So the next guy that I go to is Jim Schwartz. He's no longer employed. That's a guy that I would love. They're not hiring Jim Schwartz, though. Because to me, DQ wants somebody that he can control. He's already said he's going to be very hands-on with the defense. You can't bring in a veteran defensive coordinator that's done it. Like, first of all, DQ doesn't run the wide nine. Jim Schwartz does. So if DQ's in your meetings, DQ doesn't want, and again, he's not going to hire a guy that is running something opposed to what he wants to run. So he's not going to hire a Jim Schwartz. So that's what I want. I want a guy to come in here that has their own philosophical beliefs, that are going to come in here and do it a certain way. And that's not, I don't think that's what DQ is looking for. He's looking for someone that is going to, I think, someone he can control as a defensive coordinator. So I would prefer someone outside the box, somebody aggressive, someone that blitzes, because we don't have until you get me guys that can get the quarterback and win without blitzing, then we need to blitz. And you can't convince me otherwise. We watched a college football playoff game last night where Ole Miss couldn't get to the quarterback. If the 5 offensive linemen for Miami laid down and allowed them to rush without any hindrance, they couldn't get to the quarterback. It was pathetic. And their coordinator never decided to blitz, change things up, make it tough on Carson Beck. They just let him stand back there all night long and then let him run for the game-winning touchdown. It was sickening. At times, that's how I feel about this defense. We can't get to the quarterback. We're rushing forward. No one's winning, and the quarterback has all day to survey the field. Someone's going to get open at some point. Give me the defensive coordinator that's not going to allow that shit to happen. He's going to find a way to manufacture pressure, and I don't know if we're going to bring that guy in here. So that would be my choice, someone that's going to manufacture. And Schwartz isn't an aggressive play caller, blitzer. He's more of a conservative rush for play coverage behind it. But he's usually had a stud to rush the quarterback. He doesn't have that here. So he might not be the best fit, but I would love to see him get an opportunity here, but it's not going to happen. As far as who I think they hire, I don't really know. Again, Raheem Morris seems to be the low-hanging fruit. I don't want to pick that fruit off the tree and bite it. Yes, that's the low-hanging fruit. But if there's smoke, where there's smoke, there may be fire. He may be a guy that ultimately is in the mix here. He feels like the guy. He's not getting a head coaching job. He knows DQ, but just because he knows DQ, Mike McDaniel knows DQ, and he's not going to be here as the offensive coordinator. But that's because Mike McDaniel had options. Raheem Morris doesn't have options necessarily. So I think it could be Raheem Morris, to be honest with you, when it's all said and done. But we'll see. I was also the guy that told you that we weren't hiring an offensive coordinator until sometime next week at the earliest, and that the internal candidates that they interviewed, David Blough wasn't one of them. So what do I know? I told you going into this offseason, somebody asked me what my biggest concern was, and I said, I don't know what's going on. I'm in the dark. The unknown is my biggest concern. And what has happened? A bunch of shit that I didn't see coming. I've been getting my ass whooped this offseason. Bop, bop, bop. I'm taking punches from every direction from this organization. When I think they're gonna give me a jab, I move this way, it's a hook, and I run right into the hook. When I think it's about to be a straight, a cross, I duck, and it's an uppercut. I'm just getting lit up right now. So, but this was my fear. I told you, I don't know what's gonna happen. There's a beauty in this. There's a beauty to not knowing, to being surprised. There's a beauty to this. There's also a fear of what the hell are they doing? You can't make me mad at defensive coordinator. The only way you could have pissed me off is if you would have hired Anthony Lynn. I told you that already, which I didn't think they would do, but that's the only way you could piss me off. I've already preconditioned my brain to think that they're going to hire somebody basic as a defensive coordinator. So whatever they do there, it's not going to piss me off because I have no expectations for the defensive coordinator hire. None. So I'm just going to wait and see and hope that they get this thing right. Rocky D, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Rocky D writes, if Blough calls some hot fire next season, which is possible, it could happen. Hey, it could happen. His play call scheme should be called Blicky. I know O-line Bobby Johnson probably punching the sky right now. I can tell you this. He like, yo, what the F, bro? Really? Y'all fired me to hire David? Well, I couldn't keep my job. What'd I do? And again, we might not be privy to why they fired him. They could have fired him for a specific reason. He knows why they fired him, and he got no objections to it. He effed up. They kept it under wraps. They ain't out him. And they kept it pushing. Something could have happened. So who knows? We just know he's no longer here and we got questions. But I like the fact that this organization don't be putting their business out in the streets. They don't put their shit out there. They keep their shit in house and they handle it like grown men. I do love that. Sucks for O-line Bobby Johnson though. GP Howie, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. GP writes, Lou, what's up, G? Jeeps the Lurker. Oh, Jeep Howie. Excuse me. Jeep Howie. Jeeps the Lurker. What up, Jeeps? Fellow lurker here, so I know the struggle. Keep up the good content. Appreciate you, Jeep. Says, I don't think DB was the plan all along. I think they got spooked of losing him to Detroit and had to hire. That might be true. I mean, this didn't feel like the move. This felt like, can we really afford to lose this guy? They weren't here for the other guys that made it out, that ended up being great elsewhere. They weren't a part of that. So I can't say that they understood what someone like myself or you or others who have been here long enough as fans, who have seen guys that we thought had serious talent be allowed to go elsewhere and allow those talents to flourish. I can't say that they understood the assignment. They just looked at David Blough, and they've been around him for 2 years now, and they said to themselves, this guy's incredible. Then he interviewed, and he knocked their socks off, and they said, we can't let Detroit get this guy. We can't. We'll look like fools if he goes to Detroit and kills it. Got to keep him here. He's got a relationship with Jaden. We know he knows the staff. He could be a great fit here. You might be right. This might have been spontaneous. They saw Detroit looking at him, and they was like, nah, not today. No, not today. Christopher McLaughlin, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. My guy, Chris, writes, hey, Lou. What's up, Chris? 2 questions. 1, how much of Blough's offense do you expect to be up-tempo and why? 2, are we going to run it consistently without a RB1 for 20 carries a game to establish flow and rhythm? So the first question of, is this going to be an up-tempo offense? I don't think it will be. I think it will be more of a traditional offense. Like, I just think about Kevin O'Connell. I think about he wasn't under Sean McVay. We only bring up Sean McVay because he was a savant. He was young when he got the job, and he was light years ahead of the competition. Sean McVay is still one of the youngest coaches in the league, and he's been a head coach for 8 years now, going on his 9th season. So, like, we only bring up McVay because Blough is super young, and he has a chance to be, really good. If he kills it right out of the box like McVay did, he has a chance to be super young for a very long time. And we'll look up and he'll be coaching for 8-9 years and he's still in his 30s. Like, that's why we compare him to McVay. And he was here, right? But not because he was under McVay. He doesn't have McVay principles necessarily, but because he was under, or he played for KOC, obviously there's a little bit of that McVay, influence potentially in there because they all come from the Shanahan tree. That said, McVay doesn't run hurry up. He used to, I don't think he even does this. He used to do this with Jared Goff. It was like a sugar huddle, they would call it, where you really didn't huddle. You would rush to the line, try to get teams to jump off sides, shift guys motion, do a lot of different eye candy, but you get to the line of scrimmage with a ton of time left, but they wouldn't snap the ball quickly. I don't think they do that with Stafford. They actually huddle, get to the line of scrimmage with enough time for Stafford to make adjustments and checks. KOC doesn't know huddle. Ben Johnson doesn't know huddle. I don't think you're going to see that from David Blough. I don't think but he was on the cliff, so there may be an element of that. I don't think it'll be like air raid where you're just getting up to the line of scrimmage and, trying not to let the other team substitute. I could be wrong. There may be elements of that in his offense. I don't think that's going to be the foundation of what he's doing. Are we going to run it consistently without an RB1 for 20 carries a game to establish rhythm and flow? I want to see what what Adam Peters does this offseason, because that's going to go a long way in determining what this running back room looks like and how you divvy up the carries. If you got a K9, if you got a Breece Hall, you got your bell cow. You got the guy that you can give it to 19 to 25 times a game. If you don't, then it may stay the way it is now. Whoever has the hot hand might have 17 carries. The next guy might have 9 or 10 carries, and then the quarterback's going to touch it 4 or 5 times bare minimum, and that's your run game. But I don't know if you'll see anybody, running it 22 times in a game. I can't tell you the last time a Commander running back had 22 carries in a game. I couldn't tell you. I couldn't tell you. Frankie, yo. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Frankie, yo, writes, I'm glad this ain't some 55-year-old dude who's been a 20-year assistant running backs coach ready and waiting for his opportunity. I love that quote. Let me read this again because this one hits home. This is what I was talking about earlier when I was talking about Joe Cullen, the defensive line coach for the Kansas City Chiefs. Get this out of here with that bullshit, man. That reminds me of David Culley. Remember when the Texans hired David Culley because they thought he had a great relationship with Deshaun Watson and he could get Deshaun to somehow stay in Houston. So they hired special teams lifer David Culley to be their head coach, wasted a bunch of money and paid him to go away after the one and done season he had. Well, Culley was like, shit, this is my retirement pension right here. Take this check that they giving me. They're going to have to pay me for another 3 years. And I can sit on my ass and get fat and happy. Watch my grandkids grow. Get the hell out of my face with that bullshit. Shout out to Frankie Yo for writing. I'm glad this ain't some 55-year-old dude that's been a 20-year assistant running backs head coach. Quote, ready and waiting for his opportunity, close quote. Type of crap we've been doing. That's the type of shit that we've been on around here, right? Just give him a chance. He's been a NFL lifer. He's ready for an opportunity. Man, if you don't kick rocks with that bullshit, goddamn Joe Cullen. Hell out of my face with that shit. Joe Cullen been a defensive line coach. Let him keep being a defensive line coach. Somebody want to give him an opportunity? Hey, bless their heart. More power to him. Good for Joe Cullen. It just don't need to be here. Why Kansas City ain't get this man to be a chance to be a defensive coordinator? I know why. They have a really good one, but shit, still. Why ain't nobody else try to give Joe Cullen an opportunity? Hell out my face with that shit. Joe Cullen look every bit of 60 years old. You trying to give him an interview. Man, get out my face with that shit. I'm with you, Frankie, yo. Mob 2022. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB MAP 22. From the few clips I've seen of Blough, he seems to be closer to Ben Johnson in demeanor than Cliff. Interesting to see how that would gel with Jaden's mysterious calmness and ease. Trust me, Jaden gets along with David Blough. They were very close in that quarterback's room. So I don't think there's any question about whether the two will mesh, whether their personalities will clash or any of that. Blough gets along with Jaden just fine. And I think the two will be. And I think what's also really cool, and I know Cliff was a quarterback and he played in the league briefly. Blough actually played in the league. I mean, he wasn't super successful, but he actually played in this league. He gets it. He understands. It's going to be a really good match for Jaden, for sure. A1, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB, who writes, about time we grow internally. O'Connell versus Rivera. Yeah, I remember that. That really pissed me off. Go back and watch those videos. I was hot about Ronald Rivera getting rid of Kevin O'Connell. Pissed me off. So, yeah, this again, we got deep-rooted, embedded PTSD. It's pretty ingrained in there. So this makes me feel warm and fuzzy inside. I'm not gonna hold you. Joshua Farish, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Joshua Farish writes, we killing it in 2026. Are we? I'll take your word for it. Can't wait until Super Friends get together and you telling them bliggity blow on their defenses. I ain't gonna go crazy on them with that. Like, they're gonna laugh at me because they don't know who he is and he ain't done shit in this league yet. All they gonna do is say, you said the same shit about Ben Johnson. Y'all ain't even get him as your coordinator. You wanted Mike somebody in the chat that watch my channel gonna be like, man, shut up. You wanted Mike McDaniel as your offensive coordinator. And they would be right. So I'm gonna just tell them, look out for them. I ain't gonna beat them up with it. I ain't gonna try to overwhelm them with that shit. I'm gonna just tell them, be on the lookout. We think we got a rising star at offensive coordinator and just leave it at that. I ain't gonna, oversaturate the market with bliggity blows. They're gonna find out. And then once he doing it like at that level, then I can come back and say, I told you so. And that's when I'm going to bash their brains in with that shit. I say that now, and then we get into some heated discussions, and then I might bliggity blow the shit out their ass with it. You know how that shit go, man. I always try to lead with love. That shit don't work with them. It don't work with them. So I could try as I might. It's probably going to end up coming out. But, hey, can't say that I didn't try. Can't say that I didn't try. Malachi Malik, thank you for being a member for 43 months. Salute, who writes, DQ passed on Matt LaFleur. He won't miss this time. Sometimes it takes those type of situations to you to pass up on a situation, see a dude be successful and realize, and again, just because he passed up on Mike LaFleur, LaFleur goes on to greatness and I use the term greatness loosely, but Mike LaFleur has been really successful. Really successful. I really think if Green Bay gets rid of him, they're making a mistake. I think he's a really good offensive mind. Now, how good of a head coach is he? I don't know. I'd have to trust the Green Bay Packers fans, and if they tell me he's not, I'd have to lean towards what they say. I can just tell you, I watched this man scheme it up for Aaron Rodgers, Jordan Love, and then when Malik Willis came in, do a totally different offense for him and make this man look like he's worthy of a starting opportunity in the league. I don't give a shit what you say about Matt LaFleur, the head coach. Matt LaFleur, the offensive schemer. Anyhow, maybe DQ did say, I made the mistake once, I won't make it again. I won't make it again. No name here today. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. No name here today writes, Ja, so we can get another shooter like Gil. Nah, LOL. I mean, you can try to flip that one any way you like. If that's the way you want to play it. Look, you ain't had a star here since Gil. You ain't had somebody that put butts in seats since Gil. Ja would have done that for you effectively. So, I mean, you say what you want. Again, and Ja's had his own share of issues staying healthy, et cetera, but he's electric. Boogie, oogie, oogie. You ain't had nobody like that in Washington since John Wall. I shouldn't say Gil. John Wall was that. You ain't had nobody here in Washington since John Wall was doing that. So ultimately, if the goal is to win, is to put some butts in seats while doing so, Ja would have been a lot more effective at doing that than Trae Young. But hey, you did what you did. You made your decision. Now you got to live with it, and we'll see what happens. I'm not trying to get rid of Ja, by the way. I mean, I know that but I get it. I understand why they're trying to move on from Ja if they can find the right deal. They're not going to give him away, though. So I just want everybody to know that. Bags, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Bags writes, maybe O-line Bobby Johnson is going with Cliff. Maybe O-line Bobby Johnson is going with Cliff. Okay, but if that's the case, then like that would have happened once Cliff got a job. It's the same thing I said about Cliff when he got fired here or mutually parted ways here, is that if Cliff was interested in other opportunities as his agent put out, he was interested in exploring other opportunities, then why not keep your title as offensive coordinator with the Commanders, interview for these jobs, which is what coordinators who are in good standing with the team that they're currently with do. And if you don't get the job, you remain the coordinator at said location. He didn't have to leave to explore head coaching opportunities. He could have just stayed in Washington. So O-line Bobby Johnson is in a position where if he wanted to go with Cliff, he could have just waited to see what happened with Cliff before, leaving to go with Cliff. Cliff has no job. Cliff is not guaranteed to get work. He's going to find a home somewhere, I believe, because there's too many openings between offensive coordinator and head coach for him not to get something. But you don't know what Cliff is going to get. You can't just leave your current place of employment off of a whim and say, well, I'm just going to go wherever Cliff goes because he's my guy and he's going to get a job. You don't know what the hell Cliff's going to get. Cliff could be out here watching the NFL like the rest of us in 2026. And then what you doing? I don't think that's the case. Look, they had a reason for getting rid of O-line Bobby Johnson. We don't know what it is. We may not find out what it is, but they had a reason. Best believe they had a reason. Ben Schmoder, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Ben writes, do you think Tavita Pritchard would have been the pick if he didn't go to Stanford? There's a chance. There is definitely a chance. the way that they sent him off and the way that DQ talks about Tavita Pritchard in such high regard and with infinite praise, yeah, I do believe Tavita might have been next up. I do believe that. But we'll never know. We'll never know. Map 22. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Who writes, I'd be very interested to see how quick AP is willing to move off DQ if Blough succeeds. Also, what type of success would warrant him moving off of DQ? Also, what type of success would warrant him move? Okay, so I'll say this. If the team is successful, Adam Peters is not moving off of DQ, no matter how successful David Blough is. DQ is still at the head of the food chain, the pecking order, if you will. So if this whole thing is successful, whether David Blough is or not, DQ gets the credit because he's the guy that set it all up. So they're not going to fire him to promote the offensive coordinator, even if he's brilliant. I don't see them doing that. In hockey, if you're a Caps fan, don't you remember how things went? They won the Stanley Cup, and they fired the coach that won the Stanley Cup to hire his assistant because they thought he was so brilliant. I think that's how that went. Hey, I'm not a hockey fan, so don't kill me. But I think that's what happened, right? Because you couldn't lose him. He felt like the next man up. He felt like he was the next big one. You can make a mistake doing that. Sometimes, and again, I got PTSD behind holding on to Jay Gruden over Sean McVay. Shit happens. Sometimes you do got the right. Like, don't listen to Rio for marital advice. We had this conversation already. But to his point, sometimes you in a situation that's okay, but you might be stopping yourself from finding your soulmate. That's what he meant to say. He said some real crazy shit that wasn't that, right? But what he effectively was trying to say is you might be in a situation that's all right, but you know in your heart of hearts that you just kind of going through the motions. Like, you ain't in love. You love that person. You ain't in love. But the person that is truly for you, your soulmate, is out there. And maybe you finally meet that person and you're like, yo, this is the person. But if DQ is successful, if we go 12-5 next year, and then the next year we go 12-5 again, and David Blough is garnering massive attention, somebody's going to give him a job. They're not firing Dan Quinn to give David Blough the job after Dan Quinn has gone 12-5 3 times in 4 years. It just ain't happening. The only way DQ gets fired and David Blough is promoted is if the offense is just ridiculous, but the team sucks or the team isn't good enough. So let's see, you got the number 2 offense in the league, but the defense is 29th in the NFL in points given up. They're 27th in third down defensive efficiency, and they're giving up they're not creating any turnovers, which is par for the course right now. And total yardage wise, they're 30th in the league. They're giving up 396 yards a game. And they're 30th in the league doing that. And the team ends up 7-10, 6-11. But David Blough had this offense humming, and the offense wasn't the reason. It was on some Joe Burrow, Cincinnati Bengals bullshit. Yeah, DQ could get fired and David Blough could be elevated. But if the team is successful, Adam Peters is not getting rid of DQ. Juan Gotti, talking sports. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Juan Gotti writes, is it risky? Yes, absolutely it is. But DQ and AP said they were going to be aggressive this offseason. I guess ultra aggressive. I can dig it. Can you dig it? Because I can dig it. I love it. I love it. I love them saying, I told you, I wanted a home run cut. That's what I said earlier. Don't be swinging for a single or hitting it in the gap for a stand-up double. I'm damn sure ain't trying to leg out no triple. Man, if you don't swing for the goddamn fence, knock that bitch over the fence so I can get my home run trot on. That's what I'm trying to do. I ain't trying to be out here hitting no double, having to hustle to second base, calling time to the official so I can catch my breath. I damn sure ain't trying to slide in the third. My helmet done fell off round in second. Dirt and shit all in my nose and my face. Hell no. F all of that. I want to get my little jog on around the bases, man. My little strut. I want to flip my bat and all kind of bullshit because I know that bitch gone. And if I don't, I strike out. I did it beautifully. Swinging for the fences. That's what I want. So that's what it feels like they're doing right now on offense. I can dig it. I can definitely dig it. D Moore, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. D Moore writes, good news. No higher expectations for 2026. You just go in and just enjoy the season and see what happens. And if you don't like the outcome, DQ will probably be fired anyway. That's why I said, just give it a chance. Even if you don't love DQ, even if you don't love this hire, just give it a chance. What's the worst that can happen? What's the worst that can happen? If he's good, the team's good, more likely than not. If he's bad, DQ's gone and you get your wish. Just give it a chance. See what happens. Metaphor. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB who writes, Boom Blough. How you like me now? How you like me now? How you like me now? Boom Blough. How you like me now? Man, there's so many variations of this shit we can do. Let them be nice. Let them be free. Let them be nice. They're going to hate us because they ain't us. And we going to be all in they ain't us. Pause. I got to pause that one. I crossed the line. I stepped over the line, man. I stepped over the line. I did. I got to admit, I stepped over the line right there. That was crazy. That was wild. Maybe O-line Bobby Johnson is going with Cliff. This is from Bags. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. He could be, but again, that's not why you move on from Bobby Johnson. We talked about this already. Bags. It's not why you move on from him. That's definitely a foul on the play. That's a technical. That's the challenge flag. It's all of that shit. Yeah. Yeah. I was out of pocket. I was definitely out of pocket. I was tripping. I was on a roll, and I should have known when to stop. There's a line that you don't cross. I crossed the line. I did. And I can admit that. I said pause, though. I said pause. Yoshi, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB. Who writes, Lou, all I have to say about the hire is we will see. Yeah, we will. Absolutely. Obviously, not getting McDaniel is disappointing, but if we can't get him, I'd rather take a chance on a young coach. And I'm telling you, waiting on McDaniel would have been a cardinal sin, I believe, because Blough clearly had suitors. And what we've seen from Detroit already is they're pinching to go get guys that have already been in their system before, know those players, and they feel like they're comfortable with them. That's what they did with John Morton. He was in Denver. He was in Detroit a couple of years ago. They went back to go get him. It didn't work out. So they said, okay, let's go see what David Blough is talking about. He was here in 2022. under Ben Johnson as a quarterback, he may have a little something. He's starting to really gain some traction in Washington. Let's see what he's all about. And before they could try to sink their teeth into him, Washington was like, nah, we got it. Bad bat. He's ours. So I'm with you. Instead of going with a retread, again, Daboll would have been an option. How excited would y'all have been about Daboll? Some of y'all would have been. Some of y'all wouldn't have been. Even the people that don't love this regime, don't love DQ, want him gone, you at least have to go, I wonder how this shit gonna go. This shit probably gonna crash and burn because everything here crash and burn. If you like a pessimist, this shit ain't gonna work, but you still gotta go. But what if? You don't know. You can tell yourself, oh, this shit ain't gonna work. Don't nothing work here. This dude ain't never called plays before. This shit ain't gonna work. But you still gotta be intrigued. Because he young and he different. And he done spun the block with some of the best in the game. So I'm with you. If you're gonna go young, if you're not gonna get McDaniel, go young. And young, fresh, and new. Ooh. That's what you do. When everything is young, fresh, and new. Ooh. Go young, fresh, and new. Young, fresh, and green. With no seeds between. Know what I mean? Great. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. This should be nice. Lots of different systems, nice relationship with Jaden and a former quarterback. At this level, so he knows what a good balanced offense looks like. Always, as always, great work, Lou. I appreciate you. Great. Really appreciate you. There's a lot of positives to David Blough being promoted to offensive coordinator. There's a lot of unknowns. Again, only one way to find out if this is going to work or not. Only one way to find out. Yoshi, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Yoshi, double up. Thank you for doubling up. Who writes, hopefully, Blough runs an NFL offense. I believe he will. Blough cut his teeth in the NFL. This isn't a college guy that wandered back into the NFL. This is an NFL guy. He made it to the league. He played as a backup quarterback, and he stayed in the league. He didn't venture off into college and come back. And I know Cliff was the guy that he spent the most time with out of all the guys that we've been mentioning, but he's been around enough guys to see. And again, let me just ask you this. Do you really think they would have given him the job if he had a college gimmicky offense, if that was his philosophical belief? If they sat him down, gave him an interview, and he said, yeah, I really was influenced heavily by Cliff, and I want to be in the gun, and I don't want to get under center, you think he would have given him the job? Like, that's what they just got out of. They're not getting in another relationship like that. So you gotta think about this from a rational perspective. They hired him because they believe he's aligned with the things that they want to implement moving forward. So he's going to run a pro-style offense. He says, this is the big leagues. Jaden, you want to succeed? Get uncomfortable. No more college-friendly offenses. I agree. Like, that was cool in his rookie season to kind of transition him smoothly, seamlessly. Now you're in year 3. You got to be able to get under center and do some of the things that NFL quarterbacks do. So I do think we need to see more of that from Jaden. And he's capable, very capable. Like, you got to demand things of players. You can't just assume they can't. You got to demand things of them. Network God, thank you for being a member for 22 months. Network God writes, hey, Lou, it's another quote. It feels different because it is different. Quote, close quote, moment. Is this another it feels different because it is different moment? Could be. It definitely is different, but is it going to yield the results we're looking for? This is definitely different. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. This is definitely different. This is not what we're accustomed to. We're used to them letting this guy go to Detroit, get the offensive coordinator job, them waiting on Mike McDaniel, him getting a coaching job, a head coaching job, and then them having to settle for a Brian Daboll or someone else. And again, I wouldn't have been upset with Brian Daboll. I wouldn't have been as intrigued because I know Brian Daboll. I know what he's capable of. I know what his offense looks like. We have no idea what David Blough, Bliggity Blough, is going to look like. We have no idea. So, Kevin the PRF, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB. Kevin the PRF writes, Lou, you know yourself too well. Once the super friends start gaslighting, I'm setting the line at 8 Bliggity Bloughs. Look, you already know what time it is. I'm going to go in there to be humble. I'm going to go in there to just mind my business. We just went 5-12. I ain't trying to talk no shit. I'm just trying to mind my business and get through the stream. And then somebody going to gaslight me. You know how this shit go. And then I'm gonna lose my shit, and then it's going to be Bliggity Blough from that point forward. And more likely than not, you're going to hit the over on the Bliggity Bloughs because all it takes is one altercation, and I'm going to just spam the Bliggity Blough 6 or 7 times. And then I'm going to randomly do it 2 or 3 other times in the stream. So if you set the line at 8, I set it at 8.5. Yeah, set it at 8.5. I'm going to clear that for sure. Because you know me, and I know me. Like you said, I know myself. The intentions are always pure. They're always pure. It's the execution that usually falls short. The intentions are always pure. I can't control what other people do. I can only control what I do. So, you know how that shit go. Andre 67 Poggers, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB. Andre 67 Poggers writes, I'll know Blough is him if he doesn't give Chris Moore any reps. He shouldn't be on the roster. I'll know AP is him if Chris Moore is not here at 33 years of age. We know what DQ is. If Blough is like that, we have to take that chance. We have to. I agree. We have to take the chance and figure out. We have to take that chance and figure out. Joseph's Journey. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Joseph writes, he could be a great OC, but DQ needs him to be year one. He needs him to be that right out of the packaging. He doesn't have time for him to learn and figure it out. And by year 2, he's ready. He's an animal. He's ready to tear shit up. I'm slipping. I'm falling. I got to get up, get back on my feet so I can tear shit up. He can't be slipping and falling in year 1. Then getting up. I got to get up, get back on my feet in year 2 so I can tear shit up. DQ don't have time for that. He got to come out the gates. Boom, 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 boom. He need that DMX, not the I'm slipping, I'm falling, I can't get up. And yo, I'm slipping, I'm falling, I got to get up. He don't need that DMX. He don't need that David Blough. We'll see which one he get. That'll determine what's what and who's who next year, for sure. The Commandalorian. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Commandalorian 2026 writes, let me know, Lou, if you need help with your sleeper picks. My Cane's about to make a lot of people some money on the 19th. Raiders getting a good-looking prospect. We'll see. We'll see. I can always use help with my picks. I'm always open to suggestions. So, if you got suggestions, send them my way. I ain't too proud to beg, and I ain't too prideful. If you got the juice, all right. Damn right. Let me know what's good. I'm trying to get some money. Money green. Money green. I'm all about that dirty cream green. Right? So if you can help me get my hands on some, bro, let's get this money. Video channel. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. It's hard to make money on college football, though. I'll just say that. It's hard. Because I don't watch it enough. That's the problem. If I knew what to bet on, it'd be a little bit different. But I really don't know I don't know what to do. Like the running back went off against Ole Miss. He ain't doing that shit against Indiana. So it's hard. It's hard for me to know what's what. We'll see. Video channel. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB. Video channel writes, Lou! Video channel. DQ finally making a real move for the future. Bing, bap, boom, boom. Bap. Pow. Let me do that again. Bing, bap, boom, boom, boom. Bap, bow. Yeah. So many variations of that shit, man. We could do this shit all night. If he nice, they gonna hate us, bro, because they ain't us. I'm not gonna cross the line again. I'm not gonna do it. They gonna hate us because they ain't us. Because we gonna have so many variations of that. They gonna be sick of that shit, bro. They gonna throw it back in our face when it don't work. But it is what it is. They gonna hate us, bro. He better not be nice. You already know what type of time I'm on with 5. Let them have a coordinator that's like that. The only thing that I would say at that point is if he's really nice, we gonna have that discussion. I'm not having that discussion with y'all now because I don't like having frivolous conversations. Because if David Blough is the second coming of Eric Bieniemy, or as somebody said earlier, Freddie Kitchens, then I just wasted 15 minutes of my life I can't get back. So I'm not gonna do that with y'all now. But if he turned out to be like that, and DQ is standing in the way, as Rio would say, of finding your true love, you gotta do what you gotta do. You might have to do what you gotta do. But we're not there. We're not nowhere close to being there. DQ could literally be hiring his replacement. But if I'm DQ, I got to find a way to keep my job. I ain't worried about none of that other shit. We'll cross any bridge when we get there. Right now, I'm just trying to find the guy that's going to give me the best opportunity to keep my job. Shadow Striker, 789. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB, who writes, I need Elijah Surratt on my wide receiver core ASAP. Trade next year's 2. I don't care. This dude's the real deal. Now, I'm not giving up next year's second round pick. Sorry. Rio's been talking about him. Like Indiana, they got like 3 receivers that are like that. And I think Rio thinks Elijah Surratt is the best of that trio. There got to be other receivers that are like that in the draft coming up. But I'm out of the giving away picks business. Unless you coming away with something elite like Laramie Tunsil. And if Surratt is like that, as you say, and he's going to be like Laramie, we knew what we were trading for, a known commodity. And he was exactly what we thought we were trading for. He did not disappoint. Elijah Surratt is not a known commodity. We think he has a chance to be good. We do not know if he's going to be good. I'm not trading any picks in the future for a guy that we do not know what we're getting from him. I want all of our full complement of picks next year. That's what I want next year. Figure the shit out this year. If AP is what he says he is, he'll figure the shit out this year. Figure it out. Figure it out. Derek B, thank you for being a member for 52 months. Celebrate! Who writes, as long as McDaniel gets a head coaching job, check my DM. Well, I'll have to do it. I'll check the DM. I think he's going to get a head coaching job. Now, if he doesn't get a head coaching job, there will be people that said, see, we could have had a chance. But are you willing to risk what it would have taken to wait on him? Because he's not waiting on us. He's not going to do us any favors and interview quickly so that teams waiting on him for an offensive coordinator position don't have to wait long and miss out on other candidates. He's going to do things that fit his timeline. He's not concerned about teams waiting for him in line for an offensive coordinator position. You can't play that game. You wait on guys, and then something happens, and now you are the one left holding the stick. You're the one left looking like, what the hell, bro? This is a game of musical chairs, and you want to sit there and keep walking in that goddamn circle. The music stopped. You the one left standing up with no goddamn chair. So whether he gets a head coaching job or not, I don't blame them for doing what they do. I commend them for seeing the Lions trying to be aggressive, going to interview their guy and saying, nah, he's ours. We'll see what happens with Mike McDaniel. I think he's going to get ahead. There's too many opportunities available for him not to get something. That's how I feel. I think Tennessee is the job that he'll ultimately get. But we'll see. The Commandalorian, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Who writes, Lou, stop drinking, dude. You saying Diddy shit. Baby oil. I'm good, bro. I'm good. Trust me. You would know if I wasn't good. You've seen, I can't say that you've seen me, but if you've watched long enough, you've seen when I wasn't good. This isn't one of those times. I'm perfectly fine. I promise you. I'm good. Like, seriously, I'm good. I could take a sobriety test right now and I'd nail it. I'm good. There have been times I've been up here and I was like, I don't know how I got through the stream. Whether I was high or drunk or both, this ain't one of those times. I said that on purpose. I knew it was going to. Now, after I said it, I was like, I crossed the line. When I said it, I was like, oh, that shit, it rhymes, it flows. And I was like, no, bro, you was wilding, bro. And you were wilding bad. I said it already. What you want me to do? What you want me to do? I said pause. That's the best I can give you. That's the best I can do. Lounge is Alive Cigars. Been a member for 42 months. Salute. Who writes, I blow, wow, yippee, yo, yippee, yai to the funk. There's so many ways we can go about this, man. How they want it. There's so many ways we can go about this. I just looked in the chat and somebody said Indiana 56-50. That's not true. Wow. And the game not even over yet. Like I said, Indiana's the best team in the nation. Oregon didn't belong in this game. They shouldn't have beat Texas Tech. I was disappointed. I guarantee you Indiana doesn't do what they're doing right now to Texas Tech. That defense wouldn't have allowed it. Now, I don't know if that offense would have scored any goddamn thing against this Indiana defense, but they wouldn't have scored 56 points. This is ridiculous. Wow. Miami's going to be, I think they're going to be a significant underdog going into that national championship game. Kirk Cignetti is a Martian as a coach, as a head coach. Yikes. How did he turn around Indiana of all places? They just routed Oregon 56-15 in route to the Natty after destroying, dismantling, disassembling at Alabama the round before. Unbelievable. Santiago Trudell, been a member for 24 months. Who writes, blessings, Lou. Likewise, Santiago. This is agreed move by JD5 as well. My guess is JD5 tested, JD5 approved. But again, not that I care what he thinks. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't really care if he approved it or not. He'll be all right. If like he didn't like the Cliff move, probably didn't. He'll be all right. But it's an easy transition to a guy that you've known since you got into the NFL. He's known David Blough since he's gotten to the NFL. David Blough has been his coach. So that to me, if you were one of those people that were a stickler for continuity, you're getting like DQ hedged this bet with you. Okay. So got rid of the guy that you thought should have remained the play caller, but I kept the continuity though. I'm hedging my bet. I can rock with that. Abel Ambrosio. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB, who writes, love the hire. In AP we trust, but real question is Ed Goodman was trying to keep up. Ed was look, that was a 4-hour stream. In Ed's defense, we went for 4 hours. That's a long time for Ed, bro. So we can't kill Ed. I was proud of him for lasting as long as he did, to be honest. But King Shiggity definitely was fighting for his life down there in that bottom square, that bottom left-hand square. So I got to go back and watch it because I want to see how long he was asleep for, because he was definitely breaking his neck for sure. By the time I looked down, he was sound asleep. So I need to go back and see how long it was for. JD Sports Talk. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. JD Sports Talk writes, vet candidates must feel Quinn had one more year. Anytime candidates feel like you're a lame duck coach, it does impact what they decide to do. Nobody's trying to uproot their family. No one's trying to move their situation somewhere where there isn't stability. I'm not coming to be your coordinator for 1 year and then you get canned and now I got to uproot my life and move it again. So it's hard to get guys to sign on when that's the situation, unless they don't have other if I'm trying to keep a job in the league or get back in the league, I don't give a shit if it's a one-time opportunity. I'm going to make the most of this opportunity. It's only guys that have the pick of the litter. Like, I'm not taking a job where I could be out next year when I got a job here where I'm going to get a 4-year deal. And I'm going to be here at least the next 2 to 3 years minimum. I'm not taking a job where I could be one and done. So yeah, that plays a factor in it too. It may ultimately be a bigger factor in the defensive coordinator search than it was the offensive coordinator search, but we'll see. All right, so that was the final super chat. I'm very appreciative of you guys kicking it with the kid on a Friday night. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you decided to kick it with me on a Friday night, and I really, truly do appreciate that. To that, I say cheers. May you enjoy the rest of your evening. There's playoff football tomorrow. We're going to enjoy the entire weekend. I will be with you every step of the way through Wild Card Weekend and beyond. If anything else happens, Commanders related, you know where to find me. I'll be right here. Right here. Right now. Right here. Right now. Right here. Right now. You know where to find me. Told you that earlier. If something happens, I'll be back. You'll see this face all up in your space. Something happened. Here I am. Here I am again on my own. Here I am, back again. Tag team, back again. I don't think nothing's happening, but I said that earlier about the offensive coordinator job, and look what happened. So, shit, they could hire DC tomorrow, for all I know. Anyway, whatever the case may be, I won't be that far away. Enjoy the weekend. Enjoy the football. And we will be in touch, whether we're talking wild card action or we're talking Commanders decisions. Either way, I'll be back. Until then, you know what it is. Post up. Take command. Hey, look, man. We got ourselves a brand new offensive coordinator. David Blough. Let's go to work. Let's go to work. I'm excited. Celebrate. Got us a youngster. He might be the new NFL savant of offensive play callers, or he might be one and done. Either way, this shit's finna be fun. At least the offseason is. There's going to be excitement. There's a lot of intrigue. You can't be mad at this. You may not love it, but you can't hate it. You can't hate it. Because there's too much intrigue. There's too much mystery shrouded in this move. You can't hate it. You might not love it. I don't love it. It's the fish in the microwave at work. It stinks, but it's delicious. I think we might have just hired a guy that has a chance to be yum, yum, eat 'em up. Yum, yum, eat 'em up. And if he is that, guess who's Bizak?